GamingBolt presents 15 things only RPG fans will understand. For all of their idiosyncrasies, cliches, and bizarre happenings that they contain, role-playing games are probably my favorite genre in gaming. There's just so much to them, so many systems working together in unison to provide an immersive narrative experience. Of course, not everything makes sense to the average non-RPG fan, so let's go ahead and take a look at 15 things that only an RPG fan could understand, and why. Min-maxing. Pop quiz hotshot, what do fans of Diablo, action RPG / looters all have in common, besides laughing at Diablo Immortal? Min-maxing. Every time we start a new character or new league or season rolls around, min-maxing is the priority. It essentially means pouring all resources and prioritizing a single stat for the sake of a desired playstyle. So, if you're maining Shadow Impale Demon Hunter in Diablo 3 for instance, you're maxing out life on hits, attack speed, movement speed, and keep pouring points into dexterity. Does it make sense to prioritize only one stat in real life? Well, no, but in action RPG looter, it's everything. Walk off the fight. Remember how Eris died? Of course you remember. It was one of the penultimate moments of Final Fantasy VII. The real question isn't why did she die, but why didn't she die sooner? After all, numerous battles beforehand would have had the chance to kill her. Look at Pokemon. Your little monsters are hit by everything from special beam cannons to spirit bombs, and they simply faint. Use some healing items and they're good as new. Killer cutscenes. Except when party members die or become gruesomely injured in cutscenes. That's where an RPG draws the line on the effectiveness of potions. What's that? You want your character to see again? Well, potions are useless, and since eye transplants or mechanical eyes don't exist in this sci-fi fantasy world, you'll have to cook like Daredevil. Sorry, but it just makes sense, okay? The world ends with you. In Fallout 4, your husband/wife has been murdered and your son kidnapped. So you need to join the Minutemen, save some settlements, explore some rundown buildings, and probably go to Diamond City if you have a minute. Don't worry, the game will wait as long as possible for you to get back to the story. Some games may have time-limited quests that expire or automatically fail if you ignore them. Your son is fine and the story is fine, so don't worry. Grinding. Pop quiz number 2, hotshot. What is a given in any RPG? Grinding. Can't beat that boss? Grind. Need to progress in Assassin's Creed Odyssey? No, the answer isn't complain to the developer, it's grinding. RPG fans get it, and it's beautiful. Random encounters. In this genre, like many others, violence is an accepted norm. However, after 100 random encounters, you have to wonder why there are enemies just casually roaming the map. Why do they give you a tactical advantage for attacking first? Why do they let you get away if you run? Seriously, why are they there? The answer is experience points, and if you're not getting the full experience, you need to go get some more experience points. No stranger danger. Stealing is a crime, but not if it's an RPG. In fact, casually walking into another person's house, breaking their pots and stealing their rupees, perfectly fine. Some games like Skyrim and Fallout do punish you for stealing, make no mistake. But still, the sheer range of role-playing titles that let you just walk into a stranger's house is pretty remarkable. Two of a kind. RPGs can be about stories, characters, emotions, aesthetics, and music, but they can also be about numbers. At times, when you're making that 10th character promising that this is the one, you can get a little disoriented on why one weapon, despite looking exactly like the current one you have equipped, is better stats-wise. That's just the grind trying to break you. Do not let it, and assume everything is fine. Turn-based combat. Probably the one thing that makes the most sense in an RPG is turn-based combat. Now, just hear us out. Just assume for a moment that every time you issue commands, the enemy isn't waiting for their turn. Instead, assume time is slowing down for everyone but you. This logic even applies to the active time-based systems. It's all relativity. Trust us, and millions of other RPG fans out there. That one family heirloom. Pro tip, if someone gives you a family heirloom for completing a quest, toss it, sell it, dismantle it. That's because in most RPGs, said item is not very useful. In fact, the number of useful family heirlooms is pretty low. It does make sense in a way. Why would a sword that's just been lying around, growing dull and rusty over the years, possibly be useful for you? Friendly world enders. Summons are famous throughout RPGs, causing massive damage to your enemies, all at your behest. Well, at first, it looks like they're just obeying you blindly. They have some sense of honor and may follow those who are good at heart or capable of providing their strength, or something along those lines at least. Post-game threats. Some games turn their post-game bosses into essential story elements. Kudos to them. Other games, like the various action RPGs and whatnot, make their most powerful bosses optional. Why is the Rift Guardian of Greater Rift 115, who's clearly more powerful than Diablo and Malthael combined, not a bigger threat to the world? Because he's optional, of course. Save the world. It doesn't matter who you are or how you started the game. It could be your first day at school in Persona, or could have landed with a meteor in Diablo 3. If it's an RPG, chances are you're going to end up saving the world. Notable titles that diverge from this trope include Stardew Valley, but even that has you saving the town in your own way. The one about the mysterious civilization. Maybe it's just a cliche for games in general, but there's always some mysterious civilization out there that's mysteriously vanished, all mysterious-like. To be fair, it's not the worst setup for a game. Destiny's story takes place after the collapse of the Golden Age. The first one. Don't ask. This caused many notable civilizations to become lost to players even as their artifacts remained in use. This offers quite a bit of leeway for different kinds of stories to tell and items to introduce. So while it's a cliche, it's perfectly reasonable to reference the Protheans and so on. Carrying almost everything. And of course, we come to my personal favorite thing in a role-playing game. The ability to carry tons of gear, crafting materials, weapons, barrels, potions, world-ending materia, scrolls, and more without any issues. You can even get some nice filters to manage it all. Even games like Skyrim and Fallout give you tons of leeway for the amount of stuff that can be carried before you're encumbered, so feel free to tout a minigun, Fat Boy, and multiple ammo types without any issue. The irony? For all of that inventory space you get, it's never enough. Ever. And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from GamingBolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.